wow, I'm really having a hard time with this video. And maybe I should just start talking about the gym, but I haven't been to the gym today. I only train 3 days out of the week when I go to the gym, which is Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. That's it. And when I first started off, I was doing 7 days out of the week, and sometimes I was doing doubles. And the reason that I was doing that is because I had a lot of time on my hands and I was going through a lot. So the gym was one of those things that kept me busy and kept my mind clear, thinking about, it's kept me from thinking about what I didn't want to think about. And I guess at that time, I was avoiding it. But like I said, the gym helped me through it. It helped me, I guess, just stay sane. It got me out of the depression, out of that funk that I was in, that bad season in my life. And I really haven't looked back since then. I've had times where I fell off and I wasn't training due to things in my life that changed. And eventually I got back to it, because even though I wasn't able to train at that time, it was still something that I missed and that I enjoyed. And once you see the results, there's no other way. You get that body and that mindset, and like, that's what you want to do. Once you get that taste, you want some more. And I think that that's one of the things that people have an issue with, is that they never get to that point where they get a taste of the gains, and so they quit. But once you get that taste, there's no going back, really. That's it for you. You already seen the progress, you've seen the results, you know it works. You know that if you do what you're supposed to do, if you train, if you eat right, if you drink your gallon of water, if you get your rest, you will get those results. And you can fall off, but once you know this information, you can come back later on down the road and apply it again and get the results again instant. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say instantly, but it seems like the second time around, it's a lot easier than it was the first time, because you already have that verification that it's possible. And when you first start off going to the gym, you don't have the verification. You just see the videos and people tell you that it's possible, but you've never actually experienced for yourself. And once you get that verification and you experience that, you can fall off for a little bit, gain the weight, lose the muscle, and then be like, all right, well, you know what? I'm gonna hit the gym again. And you'll get it all back, because you already know that it's possible. You just have to get into that habit, that routine, and do it all over again. But once you have that routine, that habit, and you know the recipe to get the body that you want, it's easy from there, because your mind is different than it was from when you first started and didn't get that verification. Because that's where doubt really lies, is that you don't even know if it's gonna work or not. You're just putting in all this time and this effort, and it sucks because it hurts, especially when you start off as a beginner. That's when you're gonna feel the most sore. I guess it's because newbie gains, I don't really know, but I don't remember being sore now as when I first started going to the gym. That's when I was the most sore. I remember, and I was like, man, this hurt. Like, it actually hurt. That's how sore I was. But nowadays, if I get sore, I'm like, man, that was a good workout. But it doesn't feel as bad as it used to. And I guess it's like you start building tolerance to it. Is that once you get that, I guess for lack of a better word, that high from those gains, and that feeling is that you start building tolerance and you don't get it anymore. You don't get that feeling anymore. And that's what you aim for when you go to the gym, is that you want to get that soreness that you did when you first started off, because then it doesn't seem like you're putting in as much effort as you were when you first started. But it's not that. It's just that at that point it was more difficult, because you didn't have the muscles nor the bone density to do what you were supposed to be doing, which is working out at the gym. And the more you do it, the better you get at it, the stronger you get at it, the less sore that you'll be. Your body begins to build tolerance to it, and later on down the road, it's not as hard as it was the first time, because like I say, you already have the verification that you know it's possible, and you're not. You might be the second time around, especially if you've taken a long break, you might come back later on down the road and experience that fatigue, that soreness. But for the most part, it's not gonna be like it was when you first started going to the gym. But anyways, that's all for today's video. I'll talk to y'all on the next one.